Good morning, Zio here, and today we're talking about Blizzard Entertainment and World of Warcraft because they have cracked down on stuff, and I just realized I'm in the wrong box. Yee. Anyway, so since I screwed that up, we're just gonna keep trucking. So we're going to be talking about Blizzard. They're clamping down on World of Warcraft multi-boxing and my feelings on it. So, oh gosh, there's something on me. Anyway, with all that, grab yourself some coffee and let's get into it, shall we? And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you should go ahead and do so now. At the end of the video, of course, like it if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, share it across the interwebs, all that good stuff, because it is very, very helpful when you do that. We're still striving for 200 at this point. Anyway, with the holidays coming up, news does slow down, so there's going to be probably LPs to fill certain days. So just a heads up for that. If we ain't got anything major to talk about or whatnot, or I can't find anything to talk about that I want to talk about, look forward to some LPs, because we still have a game to finish from last year, or last season when we started doing, Mega Man Legends 2. Still need to get in there. I probably should watch the last episode of that to figure out where we were, because I kind of forgot what we were doing. It's been a while. So that's going to happen. But Blizzard has clamped down on multi-boxing in World of Warcraft. Now, if you are unfamiliar with what multi-boxing is, we've talked about this when we talked about RuneScape, right? Banning people just to ban them because, they feel like they're abusing the system or whatnot. But the difference between WoW and RuneScape in that is RuneScape does have a thing in their EULA that does state that if you use a third-party software to essentially macro a click, so if, say I've got one client up, right, and I'm controlling my character with said client, I can't have a third-party program that is sitting there causing me to click one for, say, swipe or wrath or whatever I've got keyed on it, something like that, and then it will essentially press one for all the other open clients that you have. So what it is you have multiple clients open with multiple characters, you're controlling one character, and you've got a third party essentially inputting the same key button for that one character across all the different clients that you have open. Now, for World of Warcraft, that's not been a big deal, right? That's not exactly something that they consider a bannable offense or anything. And to be totally honest, for me, I'm not a big fan of multi-boxers. There's legitimate reasons why not to, but at the same time, there are other people who do play using multi-box to a degree that, at one hand, I guess, the level of how disruptive it is to players isn't as bad as others. Like, for instance, what very disruptive when it comes to other players and then playing the game is, say, in Battlegrounds. If you got somebody multi-boxing 5 accounts at once, their main plus 4 others or whatever, and then they all use chain lightning at the exact same time and completely nuke 4 other players that happen to be, or 3 other players standing right next to each other or something, because it hits everybody at once, because you've got 5 casts of that going off plus any other procs that happen to go off at the same time with gear and stuff. You can essentially nuke down a character immediately doing something like that. That would be considered disruptive to the player base, right? If you got 5 people roaming around and they all node or mine the same node, and the node disappears for everybody else, that's kind of on the side of disruptive. Now, the side of the argument that is claiming to not be as disruptive, but in my opinion is still disruptive, is the people who just go through like old raids, old dungeons, things like that, getting BOEs, bind on equip, transmog sets, gears, and resources like disenchantables and things like that. For the most part, they're in an instance. They're in, like, say, 5 different instances, right? And, you know, one could say, well, that's not disruptive to anybody because it's not disrupting anybody, right? Except for if you're, say, me, who likes to play the auction house. I'm huge on the auction house, but myself cannot compete with somebody running 5 or 10 accounts at the same time. So, you know, that causes prices to crash because there's an abundance of you know, materials. Say, for instance, what's the one from BC? Is it void crystals, I think? Say, you know, if you've got somebody mining 5 times the amount of void crystals from disenchanting you know, epics from Burning Crusade, that market, if they dump all that onto the market, it completely crashes the market. So what may have been, because maybe that's what I was doing, you know, something that was like 20 gold a crystal at one point in time is now dropping to 5, 4, 3, 2 gold, 1 gold, maybe less than a gold. And, you know, my investment in the time that I put into it is now being disrupted by this shadow boxer or multi-boxer, whatever you want to call it, right? So yeah, absolutely, multi-boxing disrupts everybody's gameplay, regardless of where it is that you want to, you know, line on the spectrum. Because I have heard other people talk about this, and they're like, well, that thing, that's okay because it doesn't really disrupt anyone because it's not technically disrupting them. However, it does disrupt me a hell of a lot. So I'm a little salty about that sort of thing. Definitely. But just about any aspect of multi-boxing is disruptive for players, especially if you're out in the world and you want to, say, maybe grind some you know, particular thing, whether it's you know, some cloth or something, and you show up to an area that is you know, a good spot to grind it because maybe mobs respawn faster there or something, and then you go over there and there's 8 druids all moon firing everything around kind of deal, because the person is multi-boxing, and that is completely disruptive to everybody else who may want to come over there and find a little corner of this section and just sort of farm for a little bit. Because they need to build, you know, make some things, grind up maybe, you know, tailoring or enchanting or whatever it is that they're doing to get it to max level and stuff, and they can't do it now and have to go find a completely different spot that may not be that great elsewhere, because, you know, you've got one guy who's going to sit there for the next 5 hours just completely obliterating everything. You know, it happens a lot. But, you know, I did highlight this, but I'm just going to read the post itself directly from it. But as World of Warcraft has evolved, our policies have evolved to support the health of the game and the needs of the players. We've examined the use of third-party input broadcasting software, which allows a single keystroke or action to be automatically mirrored to multiple game clients, and we've seen an increasing negative impact to the game as this software is used to support botting and automatic gameplay. The use of inputting broadcast software that mirrors keystrokes to multiple WoW game clients will soon be considered an actionable offense. We believe this policy is the best interest of the game and the community. And, you know, you're probably looking at that and go, but somebody's controlling it, so they're not botting, right? Well, technically they are, but at the same time they're not, because they're inputting keystrokes for one client, right? For one character, and then a third-party software is mirroring that and botting the other 4, if we're going to go with, say, 5 characters as an example right now. So they are technically botting 4 other characters at the exact same time. Just, you know, they're inputting the controls manually, and then a third-party software is botting the other 4 accounts for them, essentially. You know, mirroring, however you want to do it. If you're not physically inputting the key, it's not you doing it, right? That's just, you know, the plain, you know, thing about it, right? You know, if you're not physically inputting the key, it's one thing if you're alt-tabbing, which is the problem with the RuneScape thing, is there was a lot of people doing the alt-tab method. You know, it's much slower to do that, but then they were getting hit as bots when they weren't botting, and that's why they were all upset about it. And, you know, you could still do the same thing, and it's going to be a heck of a lot slower to do that, especially running dungeons and other stuff, to alt-tab and then move characters 30 feet or whatnot. But, you know, at the same time, if you try to circumvent this using, say, the hardware method, without using the software method and all this other stuff to normal players, it's still going to look like multi-boxing. So when they report you, just letting you know, it's probably going to happen. We'll have a similar thing on RuneScape where people were alt-tabbing multiple characters going through a dungeon, or, well, not going through a dungeon, but maybe alt-tabbing through different characters to create things, because you can sort of tell your character to create 500 Tide sprayed linen whatevers, right? And then move over to the other character and tell it to do it. And then they're all standing in this nice little group or whatnot, and people may not know the difference between, aren't going to actually be able to tell that that's a legitimate player actually alt-tabbing to whatever. And they're probably still going to report you for that, so be careful. Anyway, we will begin issuing warnings to all players who are detected using input broadcast software to mirror commands to multiple accounts at the same time, often used for multiboxing. With these warnings, we intend to notify players they should not use this software while playing World of Warcraft. Soon thereafter, the warnings will escalate to account actions, which could suspend and, if necessary, permanently close of the player's World of Warcraft accounts. We strongly advise you to cease using this type of software immediately to maintain uninterrupted access to World of Warcraft. Thank you for your understanding. So that's what they're going to be they will be doing soon. That's how they plan to handle it. So if you shadowbox, multi-box, whatever it is that you do, be aware that this is a thing that's coming down the pipeline. They will come after you for it, so probably you should cease that. Now, people want to make the arguments that it's not that bad and stuff. That's fine. You're completely okay to have your opinion. In my opinion, multi-boxing, regardless of what it's doing, is disruptive to the entire player base of World of Warcraft and should have been banned a long dang time ago. Anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I will talk to you later. See ya. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment, smash that like button, and always subscribe for more. And of course, there are other videos floating around somewhere on the screen, so click one of those and see if you can find something that suits your fancy. Till then, I'll see you later. Bye.